Hello my darlings, it's Michaela. Just having a lighting issue and never knowing exactly where this thing should be. Anywho, oh to have a ring light, Santa. So we're gonna talk about being home for the holidays, and I thought this was a perfect topic to talk about rather than advice regarding what you should be doing for your health, or what you're not doing for your health, and to instead talk about the fact that feeling good is actually what we always want anyway. So let's talk about that. Especially when we're in environments that either are, just more charged or, what do I want to say, more stressful, and even just kind of like needing to manage more at this time of year and how that might be treating you. All right. So anyway, my biggest priority was to talk about this sense of connection. And so I hope all of the things that I talk about this evening sound reasonable. I hope they make sense. But anyway, so creating a sense of connection with yourself first. And what that really means is being present to what you're doing. When you're connected to your experience, and that's literally like, I am noticing like what I'm looking at, I am like taking in like what's around me versus thinking about something else. Thinking about how your body feels. And the thing that I also want to say about this sounds like mindfulness, which sounds so fucking dry and boring. But mindfulness is really being present, and being present means that you actually get to enjoy what you're doing more. So I feel like in many respects, being present is less about what you should be doing and more about what actually feels better. Anyway, but when we're in our heads, we're never here. And this is like, we could be imagining something more fun. Chances are we're not. So if we actually pay attention to where we are, we get to feel better and enjoy ourselves more. Love is like the highest vibration. It's the thing that like makes us feel connected to ourselves, to everybody else. And the three things that kind of create a state of love. Love is a verb, love is an act, are attention, acknowledgement, and affirmation. And so as much as we can do this with other people, and I'm sure want to receive this from others as well, this is how we like love on ourselves also. And so whether that's like, ooh, I need this, or that didn't feel good, or I'm like, fuck, something is off inside of me, or I need to do something exactly right now, or, oh my God, like you are such a queen for doing this thing, for creating this thing. Like, you're such a rock star. Like those things matter. And so even if we kind of forget about it, and we think just at this very moment, like having the awareness that if we want to feel good, being loving towards ourselves is a really smart move. And I'm going to say either if we don't have an awareness about doing that, or we're not deliberately doing it, typically it's so easy to have negative thinking just kind of like infiltrate our brain, because there's not a lot of stuff in the world that actually reinforces being affirming, paying attention, acknowledging our goodness. There's not a lot of reinforcement for that. So it's a lot easier to kind of be on autopilot and being critical, negative, judgmental, which feels like shit, if you haven't noticed yet. And that stuff can be just kind of quiet and add up to a state that feels kind of miserable. So, the other thing I just want to say is that wherever we might be, if it's like, if we're not on top of the world, but we might like to be, wherever we are is kind of in a time and, or it's in a place on this kind of like energetic or vibrational ladder. So, you know, and we have a sense of this, right? Like I feel down, I feel low, I feel like upbeat, you know, it's like I feel excited. And so it literally is like an ascension process based on where we are. So I think for a lot of us, start at the bottom and we just expect to like land at the top if we're wishing to change our state. But the thing that I want to say is that it's a progression. And so it's like, you know, I'm feeling, hi Joe, hi my dear, like I'm feeling this away, which I don't really love. And it's like, okay, you know, I did something that was supportive for myself. I just like, you know, took a shower and I put on eye makeup that made me feel beautiful. And it's like, all right, we're like, you know, I feel a little bit better now. Like, oh, I'm going to say, you know, happy holidays to my landlord because they were so helpful to me last week, blah. And it's like, that made me feel a little bit better. And so if we make a point to kind of like ascend, we get there. All right. And also if we don't, if we just expect ourselves to like leap to the top, that's often pretty unreasonable. And that can be another reason to feel frustrated. Another thing I want to say is like, if you want to feel loved, if you're like, I don't feel loved right now, like I feel unlovable or I feel like loveless, such a great tactic to feel love, to feel loved, is to actually find things that you love. So I remember I had an experience one time where it was like, you know, woe is me. I'm not like feeling how I want to feel. I'm not feeling loved. And I had this like epiphany to actually, like, if I want to feel love, then let me love. Like, let me do this. And so the thing with all of this is that it is so within our control. And I think that's like the best thing ever. Like, in so many respects, I feel like everything is kind of an inside job. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes it feels like we have to like make shit happen out here. But I don't actually believe that to be true. So it's like, yay for action in the world. But like more so like, hell yes, for like doing shit that cultivates how we want to feel. And we have a choice as to like how we treat ourselves, what we focus on, how we spend our energy, what we cultivate, what we curate. And so anyway, so I had an experience where it was like, I just found stuff that I loved. Like I had like a little like, you know, dalliance on Pinterest. And it was like, ooh, like I love farmhouses. I love tree houses. It was like, I just found all these like design things that like were so exciting to me. And it was like, ooh, now I'm not thinking about like what I don't have. Like who's not behaving in this manner to me. It's like, I've got it. And then truthfully, when you have it, like when you are it, that's when you attract it. So I think it can feel like, you know, the chicken or the egg thing, but it's like to feel good and to have more stuff that feels good. It's like we've got to kind of get there first and then it builds on itself. But anyway, that was such a useful tactic. So if you're ever feeling like, I want more love in my life, like to whatever degree, whatever that looks like, find shit that you do love. Like whether that's cars or, you know, plants or physics, like, or a particular movie that's out or like whatever, Comic-Con stuff. Like go there, like get into it, get like kind of revitalized by the thing that you love, or do the thing that you love. I feel like that is useful stuff. And so the other thing I just wanted to say, like, so when we kind of like get exposed to stuff that like activates us, that enlivens us, that energizes us, it's like that is such a better place to be in when you're going into a family situation. So I will say my family has probably gotten like increasingly fun and increasingly like fun to be around. I will say, like, my dad passed away 13 years ago, something like that. I did not have a good relationship with him. But truthfully, I have struggled with a relationship with my mom as well. And so for every holiday, it was just like, I'm going to be reacting to like how you're behaving. And what was so hard was to be in that environment and to not react, or to not like use something, like to not like, yes, please, to an alcoholic beverage, or to do a little more kind of like emotional management with compulsive eating, honestly. And so I'll talk about that in a moment as well. But if you do a point to like bring yourself up, I'm going to say like for you, but it makes social situations and certainly stuff with family, which like maybe everybody else has like, you know, a harmonious clan at all times, which is great. But if you don't, or if they're like, you know, there's that guy, like, awesome. And you find yourself like wanting to cope, to manage it, it's like, it's going to be so much freaking better if you start high, if you start happy, if you start in a place that feels loving. Because it can be really easy to like, you know, I think alcohol, in my opinion, I feel like the best time to have alcohol is for celebrations, is because on holidays, for a time that's special, it's less common. And so to me, that's like a great reason to have drinks. But it can be really easy to like fucking use it if it's like this person goes up my ass a mile and like, thank you so much. As well as just like eat, because you're feeling like stressed or dysregulated. And I'll say, you know, I'll just do the get to know me show. Probably 4 years ago, I was in a relationship where there was just a lot of alcohol, and it was something where I had my own boundaries around it, but it was still like more than I wanted. And so I just made a point to not drink. And what I found was there were instances, definitely in like family situations, where it was just like, oh man, like I want to drink alcohol in this. And I didn't let myself. And basically it was like, I don't want to rely on this. I don't want to rely on food because I don't want to have the regret after. And so I encourage anybody to like do the shit. Again, it's like maybe this pertains to no one, maybe no one can relate to this. But if you do, it's so valuable to like fucking muscle through not using other shit to cope, because what that will do is that will disengage you from that loop of regret, because that loop of regret will never go away unless we like figure out another way. And so I speak from the other side, and now it's like I never think about alcohol, like, and I really don't think about using food, like, or sometimes like when I'm like overwhelmed, I'll think about it, but I'll never do it, because it's like when you don't do it enough, then it's like, well, now this is just crazy. Like, I don't want that regret. So anyway, it's like upfront payment for like a big reward. Anyway, So when we're like loving up on ourselves, acknowledging like the things that actually make us feel better, focusing on shit that we love because we want to feel love, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to like, you know, look for it from other people. It will come from other people that love us in our life, or that like randomly come out of the woodwork because now we've like raised our vibration, which is amazing. So then when your head is above water, as we're kind of like ascending up this ladder, which has like fear at the bottom, lowest vibrational state, and love at the top, highest vibrational state, then it's so much easier to like enjoy things. It's like when we have like air in our lungs and like the sun on our skin, it's like it's so much easier just to like enjoy whatever the heck is happening, even if there is madness or like, you know, people at the table that like say things that are offensive, or like disruption, or, you know, something, some little chaotic episode unfolds in front of your very eyes. It's so much easier to enjoy it from this state that is like love-filled, lifted, like happy to begin with, than to like come in kind of sour and like, you know, keep it together when shit is like not perfect. One thing that I think is a pretty hard pill to swallow, and I'm hoping this is like filling the bill. I'm hoping this is like giving anyone who listens to this thing in entirety exactly what they needed and what they were looking for. That's like my highest wish. Resistance is like misery. So if we're judging shit, disregarding stuff, you know, being disapproving, that's the worst. We're disapproving of stuff. You shouldn't have done it that way. That was not the way to make the deviled eggs. I can't believe you glazed the ham with that bullshit. Why are we eating so late? Like, you overcooked the green beans. If we're there, we are fucking miserable. If we're pushing back about, like, I can't believe they did this, I can't believe blah, 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 it's a miserable experience. Or even just like, you know, I wish they had said this to me. I wish they had given me this. It's Christmas, right? Gifts. Like, people get offended by a lot, you know, I wasn't considered, I wasn't thought about. And that, like, feel what you feel. But when we push back against like what other people are doing, or what has been done, it's like, it'll just make us absolutely miserable. And so an alternative to that is to make it right. So it's like, it hurt my fucking feelings. Great. Nothing could be better. Nothing could be better. Like, eviscerate me, like open my chest, like let the birds come and peck at my heart. Like, let's make this big. I will say this is actually an amazing tactic. This is so smart. Like, anything you don't want, anything you don't want to feel, make it big. Like, instead of like putting the lid on it and having the like ignore yourself game or the I'm fine like song, make it big. Like, make it absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I was thinking about this as I was just kind of walking through this talk. And actually, like, there's two sides to this, and it made me realize that having like an alter ego is actually really useful. And so when I was doing this, it made me remember like advice that like a woman who's a coach of some sort talked about, the fact that like women, when they're looking to be more successful, should actually have an alter ego, like this woman that already has these things, that does these things, that is so confident, that like, you know, whatever she does that's like maybe scary or so unfamiliar to you as you, Anyway, so that was like an amazing thing to be reminded of internally for the shit that I'm like nervous to do. But it was like, oh, we can have an alter ego about like something. And so it's like, we can make it fun. We can make bullshit. Yay, Seamus. We can make bullshit fun. Like, we can make something that is absolutely like torturous, ridiculous, like not right. Unless we're just like shutting it down and making it like done and over. But if it's something that's like, this is this person's, you know, this is their personality, like, let's be ridiculous about it. Yeah. And I feel like when you're playful, basically it's like you're just putting yourself in this powerful position. Agreement is a powerful thing to do, even if it's like, I'd like to drive this person off a cliff. Like, yes. And then we're related, like, so happy about this. And being playful is like insanely powerful. And when you're playful, it's like you get back to a sense of feeling in control. And so it's like, we're never going to control them, which is like what I used to wrestle with quite a bit, which is like, I want this person to be different. And that's like a good tactic to like eat yourself alive. Like, that's not useful at all. But if you're playful about it, it's like, it kind of loosens the grasp and you feel in control again, which is fucking awesome. And then I want to say, if we're like going up this ladder, it's like to amp things up even more. It's like, how much more fun can this be? Like, how much more delightful can this dinner be? Like, what is going to make us like crap our pants like with delight? Like, what else could we make this? And basically it's like, the sillier the better. Like, it's so easy to make anything ridiculous, whether that's with like expressions, accents, like suddenly we have new roles, like anything. And the thing that's so wonderful is that like, it's like, it's the only thing that matters is feeling good, like, period. Like, the meaning of life is joy. Surprise. You're welcome. Like, no joke. And so it's like, anything you can do to make something feel better and more pleasurable is so valuable. And then I will say, like, here we go. Like, the fastest way to feel connected and alive is to do shit that is outrageous. So it's like, we're getting there already. It's like crazy shit that's safe. Like, nobody's getting hurt. No laws are being broken. But it's like anything, I feel like, can be made outrageous, which is just so like enlivening. I did something, this was many years ago, and I feel like I should do it again. And it was absolutely like big and brave. And it was so awesome. It was such a smart thing to do. But I did this thing called 100 Days of Outrageousness that I made up. And I think at the time there was something on the internet about like 100 Days of Happy. And I think at that time, like, I was just feeling kind of low, and I thought, like, this is so, like, dry. What makes you happy? Like, kittens, you know? Like, baby blue. Like, what makes you happy? And it was like, I know, it's like, I want to feel alive. And it was like, I know outrageous things make me feel alive. And it was like, okay. So I did that. And it was amazing. Like, every day I had inspiration from a higher power that just like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to put a white feather boa around your waist like a tutu, and you're going to take silver star sparkles, and you're going to go on the boulevard, and you're going to throw them at people, and you're going to say, Happy Monday. And it was so amazing. Like, I did a million things. And it was so crazy and fun. Maybe I'll attach the video. I did a presentation on it. I documented everything. And Anyway, but I felt amazing. It was like I could not have been more interesting. I was like the most interesting person on the planet. I never felt like more alive, more like lit up. I never made more money. And it was just like, this is amazing. And it was like challenging. Like it was totally, I kept having to get out of my comfort zone. It was anxiety producing. Like I knew that if I felt both like nervous, like excited and like a little sweaty, it's like that was outrageous. Yeah. So many things. Anyway, highly recommend. Not for the faint of heart, but highly recommend. Again, welcome to my family. Wearing shit on your heads, that's like something my family now expects. And so like we've had, I don't even remember everything, but certainly like party hats, unicorn horns. I made gnome hats for my family, like one holiday, or maybe it was even a birthday. Everyone got a particular color. I've made turkey waddles for Thanksgiving. What else have we had? I don't even know, but it's so ridiculous. And I feel like doing silly shit together, like makes people bond, you know? It's like, because it's a little vulnerable, and that's what makes people bond. Like the thing that breaks my heart the most is when people talk about like, you know, family, like there are some families that are so present to each other and they ask like deep and meaningful questions and they want to know about like your day and your life. And that's amazing. That is not the household I grew up in. So it's like people are like that more now, but I like love that. That's incredible. But when people have family situations that are just so like transactional, you know, it's like we just kind of go through the motions, like people aren't listening, like that sounds awful. And so it's like anything that you can do, depending on your environment, like to make people honestly be a little vulnerable, like the better. And so whether that's like what they're excited about, what they're troubled by, like that can be a one-on-one situation. We don't have to do deep dives with everyone around the table, but it's like, but silliness is like a really good route that is like to make people kind of like do something that feels a little like bare, outside of their comfort zone, that like is delightful. It's like the payoff is pretty apparent, and that absolutely like makes people feel more connected to each other, and that creates a memory, which is like the best thing to do. So what else do I want to say? Maybe I'm just going to keep going through my notes. And so I'll just say, like, in all of this, like, home for the holidays is not just feeling good. It's like being connected. Like, that's really what creates a sense of, like, being connected to how you actually feel, what your truth is. It's like that, even if it's like, I want to die, like that feels better than like suppressing our emotions, than like denying what's true for us. So even though it's like, I don't want to feel sad, like I don't want to feel mad, but acknowledging that shit, like, and feeling like whatever is there, it's like, that's the stuff that sets us free. And so I just want to encourage that. So it's like, I feel like in our culture, you know, we classify different emotions as being kind of good or undesirable. And so we aim to not feel the shit, a lot of us, that's undesirable. And we aim to like want to be happy. But it's like, well, if we have this like, you know, cesspool, like underneath the like beautiful green grass, it's like, we still have this like, you know, rotten, shitty, like crap that's present. And so it's like, that feels terrible. But if we acknowledge it, if we make it right, it's like if we get playful about it, even if we are silly with it, like ultimately that's the stuff that like sets us free. But again, feeling it first. Almost done. I hope this is amazing. And you know, so love is the highest vibration. And what's so fabulous is that I feel like that is like the state to be in. It's like we deviate and then we come back. That's like, I believe, like in my universe, like I believe this is how we're meant to be. Like we're meant to feel shit because it's like to get information, to make a change, to learn something, and then we get back to the state of love. And that is like where we feel connected to ourselves and really connected to like everyone and everything. It is a harmonious and wonderful state to be in. And then when you're there, just kind of speaking to the holidays, it's like there's no reason to ever leave. And so, you know, when I thought up this talk, I wasn't thinking about the fact that like often around the holidays, like I thought about stress, but I didn't think about the fact that like, you know, sometimes people do shit to manage that stress, meaning like they drink, they eat, you know, they check out, like they spend money, you know, they watch TV while they're like with their family. And so it's like, if you are feeling connected, there's no reason to leave. And the reason why I want to bring that up is not like, oh, thanks, Michaela. But often that other shit comes with regret. Like when we do it beyond just like, this cake is delicious, you know, or I would like to have some wine with dinner tonight. Like that was great. Versus like we kind of use it. And so anyway, so to kind of like prevent this in the first place, by cultivating this like loving state in us first to prevent the need to do something that we ultimately regret later. And then I guess maybe just the last thing couple things I want to say is like love is connection. Love is an act. Love is a verb. And so attention, acknowledgement, and affirmation. And so it's like whether it's to someone else, whether it's to yourself, it's like these are the elements. And it's not like because you say I love you. It's not because, you know, like I went to the gym yesterday. It's like attention, acknowledgement, affirmation. Yay, Christine. Yay, my dear. And those things, it's like when we're just making a point to like do this and treat ourselves this way, it spills over to other people. And I think maybe that's a really useful distinction too. It's like it always starts here. And so taking ownership for that, I think is really useful. And so now I'm just going to like segue into like fat burning a little bit. And so what I wanted to talk about is that like one thing I love about being a fat burner around the holidays is like a millionfold. And so one thing that we do, like starting in week 1, is we aim to listen to the body. And so it's like, it's so useful to like have communication with ourselves. So when we're in another environment, it's like, you know, we could go for broke. Like we could totally just like, you know, chow down on everything. Like we could. And we can also like listen to what we want. And the biggest thing I think with like holidays and fat burners is that like we do feasts with regularity. So it's like a holiday is like no big deal. It's just like, it's more than a regular carb feast, but it's still like, it's still familiar. And so the things that I want to say is that what's so awesome about that is that it's familiar to like eat shit that people that are either wanting to lose weight or wanting to, you know, manage weight, maintain their weight, would like never eat with abandon. And we do it, we know how to do it. And with that, there's no guilt. And I think that's a really useful element when you're just like living life. I feel like when people, you know, are conscious about their waistline, it's like, ooh, you know, I'm trying to be good. I don't want to be bad. Like, I've heard this from so many people like this season, you know, that I like reach out to, share things with, potentially talk about fat burning with. And it's like, I'm trying to be good. And it's just like, you are good. And like having Mai Tais in Maui or like, you know, cookies around Christmas doesn't make you bad. And what makes you even better is knowing how to frickin' do this. And so when you have a body that's wired to use your own body fat and you understand how to leverage your hormones, feasts become a part of life because the deal is they are. Like, this is a age-old human being humans being humans thing to feast. It's like we celebrate with food. We celebrate with people. We celebrate maybe with alcohol, depending on our culture. But we certainly celebrate with food. And so it's like to think that we can kind of like not do that. You don't have to overeat, but generally it's like we are eating more food and we're eating a bigger variety of food and we're eating stuff that's like not necessarily so supportive. And that is part of life. And so if you are wired now to capitalize on that and you've been trained how to do that, to not feel guilty, to get full, to get out, and how to just get back on track, it's like that's so freeing. So that's what fat burning affords, which is freaking great. I've had, I don't know how many people right now are like losing weight. And it's like, meaning that it's like we're around the holidays. Like this is when people crap out, right? They like throw in the towel. They just like indiscriminately, you know, feel like all is lost until they like come up for air in January. And it just doesn't have to be that way. And for fat burners, it's not. Anyway. So if you are someone who would like that kind of existence, so what we're talking about here is love, is listening to ourselves, is giving ourselves attention, acknowledgement, affirmation. We talked about the whole spectrum in terms of like starting tame and going to the top and being like silly, outrageous, ridiculous, like yes, fucking please. Anyway, so all of these things are just such valuable states to aim to inhabit always. And especially, I'm going to say like, especially if you're in situations that are a little more stressful, whether that's family or just like, oh my God, I have so much shit to do. But anyway, so if you were someone, so fat burners, finally, the whole goal is to listen to our bodies and honor them. And truthfully, there's so much encouragement, at least from me, to like make ourselves right. You know, to celebrate like what we're doing, how we're being. It's like nothing is ever a big deal. Nothing is ever the end of the story. It's like we're constantly like working, meaning like we are constantly moving forward in some capacity. And so, anyway, it's just a wonderful place to be. I feel like fat burning makes us calmer. It makes a lot of us feel more confident, more peaceful, more joyful, which is awesome in general, especially around the holidays. Okay, so if you were a woman over 40 who would like to lose weight in a way that actually offers more freedom and flexibility, self-love, and like permission around the holidays, fat burning might be an amazing fit for you. All right, so I'm going to attach our sugar quiz underneath this, should you wish to check that out to see what fuel you're predominantly burning. It is kind of like the key for a lot in terms of health, easier weight loss, more energy, no cravings, less hunger, slowed aging. It's one-stop shopping. Okay, check that out. And that's it. All right. I hope this was amazing. I hope this was useful. I would love to hear if anyone uses any of this shit. If there's anything that stood out to you that felt relevant or reasonable, I would love to hear about it. All right? That's it. Love to you. Thank you for being here. And until next time.